Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't yet, catch up on these videos, like and subscribe here. And we have a new vlog video posted about us getting drunk around the world. It's cool. We did a video where we made I think it was 9 or 10 signature cocktails from around the world, and it was fun. We slowly got drunk throughout the video, and you can notice.
Yeah, it progresses, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So follow below in our vlog channel, which is linked below. And yeah, what episode is this?
This is 239.
Cool.
All right, so today we're going to do a video by a page I watch a lot of their videos. They're called More Perfect Union, and it's called The Real Reason You Can't Afford a House. So,
great.
Yeah, this should be fun. I know. But obviously it's basing it off of United States, but posted? 2 months ago.
Oh, so it's fresh. Okay.
All right, let's see.
How am I supposed to compete with a hedge fund out of Texas on buying a home? It makes you feel insane because it's like there's a conspiracy against me at this point.
If you're looking for a place to live right now, you face a radically different housing market than people did even just 15 years ago. Home prices have gone up, rents have gone up, evictions have increased, and a whole group of would-be home buyers has been priced out of homeownership, becoming permanent renters.
People want to own the American dream. They don't want to rent the American dream.
They've been replaced by an industry that treats our communities and neighborhoods like a day trader treats stocks.
Yeah.
Just something to buy and sell to maximize return.
I really do think that corporations should not be allowed into the single family home.
Get your feet out of our houses.
Well, it just doesn't make sense. I guess it makes sense if you're buying obviously commercial areas, but for places that are gonna be homes for families, that shouldn't be such a profit incentive.
Yeah, housing should be
a human right. I know that sounds so crazy to say that, but it's
well, if you're working 40 hours a week, you're in my eyes entitled to affordable housing. Affordable healthcare.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Yeah.
It's been catastrophic.
Really just a few firms have been able to target and corner the market here. Their business model is built on exploitation and on having a very uneven playing field tilted in their favor.
So who exactly is behind this? We went to the cities at the center of this crisis to understand how single-family homes became big business.
Oh shit. This is Charlotte, North Carolina.
Thank you. I just saw that.
But is that where it got hit by the hurricane?
I mean, I don't remember exactly where in North Carolina, but I would not be shocked because North Carolina is not that big of a state.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most of it got
affected.
Tore up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo nunca he hablado con los dueños, solamente con las personas que trabajan para el dueño.
For the last 7 years, Sandra de los Santos has rented this house in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now she's packing up. In a few weeks, she and her family have to leave.
Yo le dije a la compañía que hace 2 años la casa se venía llenando de moho, pero ellos nunca me habían hecho caso.
From the beginning, Sandra's had problems with the rental. Every time it rained, water flooded into the house. Then came the mold.
Mi esposo tuvo que cambiar esa pared para que no nos afectara, porque mis hijos prácticamente ellos cada mes estaban enfermando. Eran desvelos de mis hijos, no íbamos a trabajar por hacer todo eso y ellos no nos han compensado con ni $1. Nunca.
That's crazy, bro. There has to be something. I mean, I don't know the laws
legally,
out there.
But
I would sue.
There has to be federal law that protects that, I would think.
Totally.
It's been years since she's been asking for repairs.
Jessica Moreno is a housing organizer who's helping Sandra.
They got their rent raised every year. They do what they can to make sure the rent is paid every single month. And then on top of that, they still have to fix the home.
When she looked into Sandra's landlord, she found it's a Texas-based private equity firm that's among the largest owners of single-family homes in the country.
She rents from a corporate landlord called Amherst, just in Charlotte. Amherst owns 1,583 homes. When you think of landlords, you think of someone that has maybe 2 houses, right? That's not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with, backed by Wall Street, corporations that own thousands of homes.
Sandra says she spent $25,000 repairing the house.
Damn, dude.
And Amherst hasn't paid her back for any of it.
They actually have an office here in Charlotte, which we went to, and it's 2 suites that are filled with boxes. No one's there.
What the
After
fuck?
Sandra protested publicly, the company finally contacted her and sent an inspector to the house.
Wow.
Then they offered her $2,000 to leave.
It's a slap in the face.
That's
wow,
it?
they bought her out
Only
for
$2,000?
That's like a slap in the face.
I hope she didn't take that.
You never know when people are desperate.
That sucks.
Of course, she said no. She wasn't going to take that.
Okay, good.
And they said that she would have to leave at the end of her lease. She was forced out of her community.
How is that
legal? A lot
legal?
of people are under that situation.
If you sign a lease, they can boot you whenever.
No, it's different
After the
state by
lease.
state. It's
Yeah,
different
you're
state by
right.
state. Here, they can't do that. Renter laws
Or-
here in California are very good for the
I
renter.
think houses are different.
It's renter's laws. It doesn't matter if you're renting a house or an apartment.
I don't think when it comes to house, because my sister and her friend, remember, they rented a house a few years ago, and the owner of the house can tell you, hey, you need to be out by the end of this month.
Yeah, but it has
They
to be under
want-
specific reasoning.
Hey, we're in California.
Yeah.
So I don't know how North Carolina works, but I don't think it applies to houses the way it does to apartments.
Maybe. You might be right. I need to look into it. I just thought renter laws were pretty much all
I
in
mean, we're
California.
still on the other side of the coast, so what the fuck do we know?
Yeah.
This is
That's
a problem
wild.
that
That
didn't
sucks.
exist 10 or 15 years ago.
Taylor
Yeah.
Shelton is a geographer who maps the ownership of single-family homes.
Prior to the 2008 foreclosure crisis, large corporations were really not involved in the single-family rental market at all.
After the 2008 crash, Wall Street saw an opportunity in millions of foreclosed homes, especially in the Sunbelt cities hardest hit.
What the foreclosure
Damn.
crisis presented was a mass of available
Discount.
inventory for extremely cheap.
Yeah.
So when property values skyrocketed over the next decade, the proceeds went to Wall Street, not to the people who now rented the homes. The result has been a housing recovery without a homeowner recovery. By 2022, large investors were buying more than 1 in every 4 single-family homes sold in the US.
The absolute largest companies really there are 2. The first is Invitation Homes, which is a publicly traded real estate investment trust. The next biggest actor is Progress Residential, which is owned by a private equity firm, Pretium Partners, based in New York City on Wall Street.
I've seen ads
After
for
those
this.
2 biggest companies, there's really 4 more. Amherst Holdings, based in Texas. First Key Homes, owned by Cerberus Capital Management. American Homes for Rent, now known as AMH. And then Tricon American Homes. There's really 3 things that these landlords are able to do. The first is these landlords raise rent and fees at much faster rates than any other type of landlord. The second thing is that eviction is a really core part of their business model. Institutional investors are way more likely to file for eviction, not as a kind of last resort, but actually at the very first moment they're able to. And then the third thing is that we know these companies are actually producing worse outcomes in terms of building maintenance. So they are, in effect, providing a worse product for higher prices.
That's
In
fucked.
Atlanta, Wall Street landlords now own more than a
I mean, how far is this going to go? Like, how far can this go? Like,
Until no one has a home.
but
honestly.
that's crazy. It just,
I mean, it's not crazy for the people making the money.
this is why I sometimes hate talking to people about this that are just like, well, they should make more money, or they should do this, or, you just have to figure it out. And it's like,
A lot of people who are super fortunate, that's their mindset, is like, well, I figured it out. And it's like, you're not the...
It's just, you have to take into consideration that there are factors of things
course.
changing that are not normal, how they should be changing.
Yeah, not everyone has the same circumstances, so not
I don't
everyone
know.
has access to things just
Like-
because you do.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a really big problem. Let us
Yeah.
know it wherever you guys are at, if there's like corporations buying up houses too, like single family homes. I think it's happening more here than anywhere else. But
Yeah, it's super, I don't know. It's kind of heartbreaking, and it's definitely one of the many reasons I don't see myself having kids is I don't want to be in a position where instability could happen.
I get that.
And we live in a very expensive state, and I don't
Very expensive
see
city
myself.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm from here, but I don't see myself having to leave in the hopes of the American dream of owning a home.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying I never want to own a home. Of course I do. But I'm not trying to swim upstream my whole life for the possible chance of it in a neighborhood that I probably would rather not live in. Okay, sorry. Press play.
Quarter of single-family homes. I met up with Robbie Caban, an Atlanta broker who's been working in real estate for over a decade.
What I've seen is that my clientele, that buying pool of first-time homeowners or elderly who are downsizing, you know, with limited income, like veterans and so on, they're no longer able to purchase. They have just been wiped out because they cannot compete with the other buyers in the market.
Tell me more about the corporate buyers. What influence have you seen them have on the market here?
It's been catastrophic. Truly, the pool of homes available has been so diminished that, in essence, normal people who have just general lending on limited funds are priced out, and they're forced into rentals. And because those same companies control the rentals, you know, they're very little options.
It's just, and that's what sucks, because corporations, that's what they do here, is they buy out all competition, and then they just do what they want, and they pretty much fuck a lot of people over in the
what can
meantime.
you do? You're like, well, I have this or this, and it's the same people controlling.
I swear, our next president really needs to...
It's in her plan, according to her website, so we'll see. But she's
hopefully,
trying to
but I'm
make
just...
housing affordable.
Yeah, because they need to make some type of laws to take back housing from the corporations and not allow them to just scoop up anything like that. Like, it's so free to them for just to like scoop up everything.
Yeah, housing should not be a business.
I don't think so. I think if you have commercial buildings and like where like retail and stuff, I guess that makes more sense. But where people are living, it shouldn't.
When a cash buyer can come in like the corporate buyers and buy within 5 days, no appraisal, you know, virtually no inspection, as is.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
How can a person who needs 30 days or more, needs an inspection, needs a due diligence period, needs an appraisal for the bank, it's required to compete with that. Yeah, they can't.
That fucking sucks. Also,
according to one study, the shift from owning to renting has resulted in over $1 billion of lost equity for renters over the last 10 years. And that's just in Atlanta.
I mean, I paid $24,000 last year for a place that I have nothing to show for.
Austin Hunter is a cabinet maker whose last 3 landlords have been different investment firms, most recently First Key Homes. In the last 6 years, Austin's rent has doubled. Long term, he thinks it might make more sense just to live in his van.
How am I supposed to compete with a hedge fund from Texas that's trying to buy a house when, you know, any house that like I could ostensibly afford, they're coming in with cash? It really feels like I'm pushing a boulder up the hill and continually getting bludgeoned by the boulder coming back down on me.
Corporate owners of single-family homes argue that they don't contribute to the housing crisis.
Don't blame Wall
Street. That nationally, they own less than 10% of the market. But if you're looking for a place to live, the market you care about isn't national. It's one neighborhood versus another. And in some cities, these firms are building local monopolies.
The way these companies' business practices have evolved is essentially to avoid competing with one another through this geographic targeting. Invitation Homes tends to purchase in, on average, wealthier and whiter communities. Progress and Main Street Renewal tend to focus on somewhat poor, predominantly black neighborhoods. In some neighborhoods, it's upwards of 50 or even 75% of all single-family rentals are owned by these large Wall Street investors. That element of market power is really significant in the way these companies operate, really meaning that if you want to live in a given neighborhood, you're forced into working with a single landlord.
Today, my administration is sending a very clear message to the corporate landlords.
In July, the Biden-Harris administration announced a new plan to slow rent increases.
We are going to cap rent increases at no more than 5% a year. Period.
That is still a lot.
The proposal follows another effort by Democrats in Congress to address corporate...
I remember fresh out of COVID, a lot of states that don't have rent control, like Texas, they were taking advantage of that right after.
Yeah, they raised it like almost. They doubled
like
it
20,
in some
30%.
cases.
Yeah, if not more.
Yeah.
There were people all over social media being like, they just increased my rent by $700.
Yeah, because seniors
like,
got kicked out of
crazy.
their houses too because they couldn't afford the mortgages after
people
that.
were trying
and stuff
to
like
make
that.
up for lost costs during COVID. So they were, as soon as
Yeah.
rent was owed again, they were like, they increased so many people's rent.
People complain too that rent control ruins the housing market. I don't
For
know.
who?
For people who want to make profit.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, profit, you're like, that's not
there should be.
it shouldn't be, you shouldn't be gaining that much profit.
It's just goes back to the thing. There should be more available housing, which I think would alleviate a lot of this problem. Like
Well, the same people that are complaining about it are the people who would not benefit if there was more housing, because do you know
the
what I mean?
prices would go down if there's more available housing.
Yeah, for people who want housing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's I don't know. I just hate the whole like profit driven thing about these specific things.
Yeah, shouldn't be as much of a business as it is.
Yeah, but we're delusional for thinking that way, right? All right.
Landlords control over the housing market.
We should get the hedge funds out of the housing business.
Yeah.
Period.
Senator Merkley's
Ever
bill
since
would cap
2008.
ownership at 100 properties and make corporate landlords sell the rest in 10 years. But so
That's
far,
a
no
good
legislation
plan.
has been brought up for a vote. Corporate ownership of single-family homes is hardly the only problem with our housing system. But the way Wall Street has siphoned up neighborhoods that were once a path to building wealth for working people,
Jesus.
it's really one of the clearest examples of the fundamental problem.
We value money, not people. That's
Well, the thing is you can value both. You just have to have a limit on how greedy you're willing to be. And you will never have enough. Like corporations, they'll never have enough.
They'll never
the
be
more
satisfied.
they can wring people dry, they just push it a little more and a little more and a
What's
little more.
crazy is this literally came off of a housing crisis, and they saw that as an opportunity to scoop up tons of housing and to continue to do so.
Yeah,
That's insane to
horrible.
me.
Yeah, no, that's fucked up behavior.
I don't know. I mean, so globally, I know that the housing crisis here did affect places around the world. Wherever you're from, let us know if this has been happening or if there's like laws in place or things to control
How did
this.
it affect the people leaving and going other places?
No,
and
because
gentrifying
there were a lot
them?
of countries that invested into the
I
shit
didn't
they
know
were
that.
selling here as
Interesting.
like that, but then it blew up because it was fake. It was pretty much a bullshit wrapped in a a good box. I forget the mutual bonds or whatever they call them with the housing market. They started just like renaming shit, and they would take the loans that they would give to everyone.
Okay, that was back in like
2008.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's when they started buying up houses after that happened.
Right. I don't know how many people invested in that will watch us.
Yeah, Switzerland was a huge one. A bunch of other global.
I'm talking about people watching.
No, banks.
Oh.
They're banks that run their economy, put
Got
billions
it.
of dollars
Sorry,
into
guys.
our
I
housing
didn't sleep
market.
well last night. Okay, I get what you're saying.
And
now.
when it collapsed, they lost a lot of their investment.
Heard. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
that sucks for you. That's what you get for putting your faith in the American. That's what you get for praying off.
Thanks
of
so
us
much
and
for watching our
downfall.
video. If you'd like to see more stories
kidding. I
like
don't
this,
think anyone
be
watching
sure to
gives a
like and
fuck.
subscribe to our channel to get more perfect.
All right. I like this page. They're called More Perfect Union. I'll put them in the description below. But they talk about a lot of the corruption in our country with like greed and
Wait, hold on,
yeah.
let me see. There's comments.
Yeah, damn. This guy said he gets calls at least once a month from companies asking if he wants to sell his house.
That's insane.
This is where government should have stepped in a long time ago. Single family homes are for single families only, no investors.
I mean, when I don't know. I just feel like when the majority of your population is not like struggling financially, things just go back into the economy, and it just kind of.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of the Democratic argument is saying that a lot of people don't want to hear that if you invest in the people, then it in turn goes back into the economy.
Run.
Yeah, it just makes people feel better than like, because the whole thing that I think we mentioned in the last video, like where you say like, oh, like we're gonna help out the corporations, which will then in turn help out the people. I don't think it really works out that way because
No,
the
it doesn't.
corporations
For
get
sure it
fucking
doesn't.
greedy and they just
Yeah.
don't help anyone out.
Yeah, they see that payout and they're like, why the fuck would we return this back in the other direction?
Yeah,
Anyway.
the failure to regulate capitalism will cause its collapse.
Of course. Hopefully it's sooner than later.
Yeah,
Okay, well, thank you for watching, and
we'll see you on the
I
next
hope
one.
you have a little insight.
Yeah, let us know too in the comments if this similar thing is happening in your country or what they have in place to stop it. And then we can maybe look into that too.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.